thank you for having me tonight and live versus a Memorex tape of a video that I've done, right? Look, as I've been saying all through 2020, especially after April, the Las Vegas housing market is on fire. It has been an amazing trip as my presidency during the 2020 period. And I don't see any reason for it to change. We've been stuck, if you want to call stuck, for our median sales price at $345,000, which was the top of the market it's ever been for the last 3 months. The biggest issue, and people ask me, well, why did housing blow up during a pandemic, right? And that's because literally we have a housing shortage, and pretty soon it may be that we end up having what they call like an immobilization, because you're not going to sell your house because there's no room or no other house available for you to purchase other than new home, properties. So if you're thinking about doing anything about purchasing property, now is the time to do it, because I can't guarantee 3 months, 4 months, 5 months from now, if you'll have a choice of finding a resale property, you'll probably be stuck fighting with everybody else on new home sales, because that's going to be the only thing that is available, because they're building it, right? You're going to be able to go look at the land and build the dang home versus finding something that's already built for you. So that's the biggest worry that I see. But with that will come even more explosive growth in home values, right? Because supply and demand comes into play, and it's just going to be, or it could be very, very interesting to see. It might almost be like Bitcoin, right? Going from $30,000 to $50,000 overnight. So that's what I have right now. Any questions or comments, concerns? I mean, I can even talk about COVID and the vaccines, and the governor just loosened up our abilities to have more than 25%. We're up to 35%, going to 50%.
I have a question here that came in the chat. Somebody's asking about, did COVID or how does it affect the rental market? If I'm looking to invest, am I going to be able to find people to rent my place?
Yeah, with the housing shortage, obviously comes, it might not be obvious, but we have not enough housing to fit people that want to buy, or even those that want to rent. We've had over the last couple of years a huge explosion of these massive apartment complexes that were built, and that didn't even put a dent in the needs for those that want to rent. And rentals property prices keep increasing. We have a moratorium right now as far as not being able to evict people if they're not able to pay. So you don't want to buy one of those homes, but you want to make sure that you buy a home that you can put your own new person in, and make sure that they're able to pay. And that's mostly from the period of March and April, when Las Vegas shut down. I don't know if you've seen the photos of Las Vegas, of the Strip just shut down dark. I mean, the cool thing to do back then was to get on a bicycle and ride up and down the Las Vegas Strip, something you just really can't do. But it was cool, but it was really frightening at the time. And right now, I think we've recovered. I would venture to guess that in the coming years, if you want to recall that in 1918, when the same thing happened, we had a pandemic, right? And so what happened after 1918 was the roaring 20s. So I expect us to come back with all this money that the government's put into place and into play, that we will be in high cotton for the coming years.
So this pertains to the, I guess when the moratorium ends in March, possibly, what are some short-term effects that might happen? I mean, the long-term effects are great as far as I see, but what about the short-term right around the corner?
If they do lift it, you're going to see a bunch of people moving all around, right? Because the people that didn't pay are going to get kicked out, and they're going to be looking for another place to rent. And those that have rentals are going to be in the prime spot to really demand, good 2-3 months of a security deposit or more, especially if they've had an issue. Higher rents because, let's face it, they didn't pay before. So it's going to be up to the landlord. They're going to make those decisions, but you'll be in the driver's seat. It's not like there's going to be all of a sudden a bunch of vacancies. I would imagine probably other thing that will happen is those owners that were stuck for almost a year without getting any kind of rental payments, they may be getting tired of all this and may want to sell. So there may be some opportunities there to pick up some good investment properties as well.
Okay, that's great. I'm going to take this last question here so we can kind of keep going. But Tom, so in a nutshell, I get all these questions are very similar. 2021 and beyond, or at least 2021, crystal ball. What are we looking at for Vegas?
I'm on record now to say that I don't see any issues until potentially 2025 because they're not going to be raising the interest rates at a very quick rate. That's going to be a nice slow climb if it climbs at all. And most of the forbearances and that kind of stuff have all been taken care of or being worked out. The government's done a great job of building the bridge between this pandemic cavern or crevasse, if you will. We started here, we're going to end up over here, but the economy is able to control itself. And they built that bridge with all that money to have everybody get over to the other side. And this is like the pause period, right? So I expect that to happen. And, I feel comfortable going out to 2025 without having any real hesitation.